Okay, so for this week's discussion post of Truth and Justice, we had to listen to the last couple of episodes. I really found it interesting, and the episodes that stood out the most was episode 30 through 32, which is like Jason, Dan, and Damien speak out on their parts of this whole case. Um, it was actually like really interesting hearing like what they had to say. Another takeaway that I got was that most, like, these three were like outsiders technically, and I feel like this was like a partially vulnerable to suspicious, like just because they were outsiders and like they did things not other people would do, it made them suspicious. I feel like the satanic rituals definitely like played a big part. Like, since they were outsiders, they were like really easy to target on, like, oh, this case was mainly on a satanic rituals, and they were definitely targeted. Jason claimed that he was with friends and his girlfriend, and that the timeline doesn't match up with the crime, which I found interesting. What's the dude I mentioned? Oh, Dan. He represented Jesse Miss Kelly. He explains how the interrogation tactics led to false or like unreliable statements. I think he was a defense attorney, the Dan guy, and like it was just like explaining like how like psychology of false confessions, like how minors are like more suspectical, I think, under pressure. Like they kids, when they're being questioned, aren't always going to be telling the truth, or like their confessions could be like all messy since like they're under pressure and they just want to get over with. And I feel like it's more not reliable in my opinion, just because they didn't have, like, especially if they don't have a parent, um they they like the confession can definitely be like under pressure, like not good. So some takeaways was that false confessions can happen even in high profile cases. um Defense attorneys face enormous pressure when public opinion is against their client. Yeah. And then Damien Eccles, he shares his story of like the arrest and like having the death row to release, which was like interesting hearing. Like how is it like how he felt like during um he kind of like just goes through like his emotional aspects on like awaiting execution, which I feel like no one should go through, especially if you're not like if you're not the person who committed these crimes. Even if you know but they don't believe you, I feel like that really like affects you as a person, because you're gonna be killed for something you did not commit, but you're the only one who knows that, but no one believes. So it definitely gives me a takeaway, that even death row inmates can be wrongfully convicted. Some of like the takeaways that I got was like public fear and medium pressure can influence legal outcomes. Which is like, I don't know, I feel like this case was just not investigated well enough. Like that, there was that guy, Mr. What was his name? Bojangles. He should have gotten investigated, since he did like checked off all the things that could happen that night, but they never like went and investigated him, but they just mainly focused on these boys because they thought it was like more of a satanic ritual, which I think was like the biggest mistake they did. which they definitely should have investigated outside of people. But yeah.